Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that everybody listens to. You know, all you astronauts out there.
Astronauts, aliens.
Cosmonauts.
Me.
Dentists.
Alien dentist costronauts. What?
Costronauts, yeah.
Costronauts, yeah.
Cosplaying astronauts.
Cosplaying astronauts. Joe, I want to give you an award for helping me there.
I got you.
And saving my misspokenness.
Wow.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's right.
It's perfectly fine. This week we'll be talking about Staring into the Super Void, Colorblind in July. The news is being brought out by the millions. Our topic is one of the first. And this week's dragon is getting written up. We'll see how
I want
goes.
everyone to just write these all down. I know they don't make sense now.
They don't. They barely
Listen to
will
the
later.
podcast. And then a little bit of homework. Come back. And then re-listen to this first part. Get some wine, a little bit of Chianti, and sit back and just enjoy those 15 seconds.
It's for our
It'll be
Nancy
worth
Drew detective fans.
That's
They're
right.
just like,
We are
this
not
riddle
on.
means
Yeah.
this one.
We are not an amateur for the first part of this podcast.
Absolutely not.
Experts only.
That's right. And my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
Yeah. So how was your guys this week?
Hey, Mandy's you've been away for a little bit. Been up in Atlanta.
I have doing super secret work stuff.
Super secret.
Super secret.
But yo, Mandy, I gotta tell you, you have missed a week here in Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever thought Florida could be every season in 1 week. But oh my goodness, it was like a little bit cool when you left. It was like like a fall type thing.
It was nice. It was nice.
And then it dropped into the 30s where literally we had to look out for iguanas falling on our heads.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
And you know the park near us, tons of iguanas.
Yeah.
And then after that, for the next 2 days, it just rained straight like April showers, like spring showers. And then I heard tomorrow, we're recording on Friday, it's supposed to be forecasted to be like 80 degrees. So it's going to be like summer. It's just fall, winter, spring, summer. I don't know what's going on.
I saw a meme while I was gone. They were like the weatherman's like Powerball. He's just like picking random numbers. 56 today, 15 tomorrow, 48, 92.
I feel like Florida itself has found out about the Florida man thing. And it's like, I could be crazy. oh, this is what we're doing. Oh, I can do this too. Hold on. Hold my beer. Let's go.
Florida man, have you seen what shape I am? I got this.
Yeah, somehow I blame us. I just blame the Floridians. I don't know how. Somehow we are the root of whatever is happening this week, but it's been interesting.
It has. It very much so has. So,
It's allowed me to play some video games because like can't do anything else.
well, speaking of that, let's get into our video games this week.
What are you playing?
And let's start with you, Troy.
Oh, nice. We're going to start with a banger.
Oh.
And by a banger, I mean I did it again, y'all.
Play a sad one.
Oh my gosh. I played the saddest game again. Why do I keep doing this to myself, Brian?
I don't know.
One of us has to be a good person. I'm glad you're on the podcast and you can fill that void.
Am I like a sadist? Like what? A sadist, but saddest.
No,
you know
I
what
got
I mean?
it.
You know what's
That's
going
good.
there?
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I played a game called Last Day of June.
Okay.
It is made by a company called Avosonico. It's an Italian independent studio. And they kind of came from a bigger background, but they kind of went to Italy and were like, we want to make important games now. And they did. It's animated. All the characters in this look like unfinished clay models, meaning they have like eye indentations, but no eyes.
Okay.
They have no mouths. And when they speak, it's just like gibberish, but you understand everything they're saying. Just, it's great.
Nice.
And it's all kind of just beautifully artistically given. But the story and the premise, let me break this down for you real quick.
Break it on down.
Oh, man. You play as this guy, and he's on the pier. It's like summertime, beautiful sunset happening with his wife. And you're just out there having a great time. You give her a kiss, and then she starts shivering. And you look towards the car, and it's like, all right, you got to get up and actually go to the car to get her jacket. And on the way, you find a little flower. And you're like, you know what? I picked the flower up. I'm like, well, if I pick this up, I'm going to give it to her. I give it to her. She goes, oh, puts it in her hair. We do a little kiss on the forehead. And then I go get her jacket. And she's like, thank you. Meow, meow. It starts raining. They get in the car.
Car accident.
So before you know that happens, it cuts to like a scene in their living room, and you play as the wife now, and you find out she's a painter, and she is given a gift, and she's trying to figure out like the best way to give this gift to her husband. She's looking around and she can't find the place. Finally, she sees a picture of a pier and goes, "That's it." And then she wakes him up, surprises him by saying, "Hey," or he wakes up and then she's like, "Hey, let's go to the pier, to have like a special night," because she wants to give him this special gift.
Yeah.
And the pier is the location that
The game starts.
the game starts before the car accident. Now it cuts to a man in the dark, in the rain, sleeping in his sofa chair with a wheelchair next to him. It's so messed up.
Jeez.
He gets into the wheelchair and he's hungry. And he's just like, I wish I could eat and get some food. And he kind of remembers that he doesn't have the tools, but he needs to go into his wife's workshop to get a tool. And in his wife's tool shop are all the paintings that she used to make, but they're all covered up. And then he's like, "Oh, I guess the wife's not with us anymore." And he is. And here's the all of her paintings. And he kind of looks at one, and then stuff gets weird. The door slams shut. The painting starts to glow, and she appears on the painting. And a prompt comes up that just says, "Save her."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now this is the premise of the game. Now, going forward, is she has painted the portrait of like the few townspeople that were all there present in the village as on the day that they left to go to the pier. And one by one, you touch one of these portraits and you get to replay the day as that kid or her neighbor or the grandfather. And you try to change what happens because some of the events that the townspeople do actually cause the car to crash. So you are trying to butterfly effect or Final Destination yourself out of her dying in this accident. And that's the crux of the game. This means that you are just constantly watching this car crash over and over. And this is where it actually became less of like a sad tale and more of like a haunted tale because he keeps trying to like change things and find different scenarios. And it's a beautiful story about the town and the relationship, but it's also like this poignant like message about loss and love and acceptance and things like that.
Like grief and playing the events over and over again in your mind and being like, oh, if only this hadn't happened, or
Right.
if only that hadn't happened. Or
And being able to go and actually try and change things. It's fascinating.
So are you seeing the car accident from those people's points of view as well?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And the more that you like, the more portraits you unlock, the more you see from different perspectives, and the more you can influence other people's portraits in their days.
Yeah.
So it almost turns into kind of like a Metroidvania. Because I have to pop into one person's past to change something to then pop into the previous person's past, and now there's a door that's open that I couldn't get to before, because the kid is small and could fit under there or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you're trying to stretch this game into your New Year's resolution.
Come on. I can make it happen. Come on, man. You believe.
I don't want to play a Metroidvania, but if I can just find Metroidvania-like aspects in the games that I'm playing, maybe that should count.
It's not a Metroid Sadia.
It's like a Metroidvania because it's in a city. It's a metro, right?
My tiers unlocked different areas that I couldn't get to before. That has to count for something. Beautiful game.
Yeah.
The way it wraps up is so beautiful and poignant. I'll tell you all about it afterwards. This is a game that came out in 2017 that I wanted to play but just
Nice.
didn't. But it was up against some other big games. 2017 was the same year that like Breath of the Wild and Senua's Sacrifice and like Horizon Zero Dawn, 2017, Mario Odyssey all came out that year.
2017
So,
was a great year.
Unfortunately, this game got kind of brushed to the side because of all these huge just monsters that came out that year. So I'm glad I got to pick it up now. And yeah, it's a beautiful game. Here's the thing. Last day of June, guess what the wife's name is?
June.
Yeah. I didn't figure that out until after the game. I should have beforehand. I just didn't.
Yeah. How long did it take you to beat? complete, I should say.
Maybe like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
total.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice short
couple
game.
days of playing. Yeah.
Cool. All right, nice. How about you, Joe? What did you play this week?
I played a game called Super Impossible Road. It's for Apple Arcade.
That sounds super impossible.
I kept calling it Impractical something. So I was like Impossible Impractical something race. I don't know. But anywho, it's actually phenomenal. I'm a big fan of like F-Zero. So,
what is it?
Okay, it's a racing game. And it's not Mario Kart. It's you're a ball. You're a weird shaped like alien cruiser kind of a thing.
Okay.
Some of them are ovicular. Most of them are just ball shaped. They really are.
Okay.
And
so the next iteration of Tesla's. Awesome.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if anybody played F-Zero for the N64.
I did not.
Okay, there was a couple of races, like tracks in that game where it was like a tube that you were racing, and you could go inside the tube, or you would race on the outside of the tube.
Okay.
And the game was 3D. So as you spun around, the whole world around you spun around as well. If you went too far to the left, too far to the right. So this game, it's kind of like half Rainbow Road, half that.
Wow.
So you
That sounds impossible.
it is. I'm so bad at it. I don't even know how to put into words.
So it's living up to the title
Oh
for
my
you.
God,
Like
I am
you can't be angry
terrible.
about that.
I'm not upset at all because it's still really pretty. Like, for a phone, the problem is it's a phone game, and the controls, albeit really good for something so ambitious, it's not good enough. Like I have fallen off the board and caught like the bottom part of the track. Like you'll be in a track that's forever, like a Rainbow Road, literally. And if you know how on Rainbow Road, every once in a blue moon, you do fall off the board and you can hit the track below you. Well, you can do that in this game, and that'll help you because you just passed like a million checkpoints, and then you got there faster.
Wow, this is actually working for me because this is actually triggering a nightmare I had as a kid where we were on a highway and the road like curved upside down, and I fell out of my dad's window in the car and just went straight down into water.
Oh no!
I could have used another track there to have bypassed.
I don't know if that other track would have helped you much, to be entirely honest. You probably just would have went splat instead of splash.
Oh, okay. Well,
see, upside water.
Thanks, Steve. Not so bad.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel better about it now. Thank you. Thank you. This is helping me out.
That's what I'm here for. Tech for life. But ultimately, the game's really fun. I unlocked a couple new roads in it, a couple new machines, a couple new roads. And it's visually just really pretty. The sound design's really nice in it. I do really wish the controls were better because I feel like it could be a legitimate game if you had a controller.
Do you feel like it's something that would benefit from having like an add-on onto your phone? I know they sell like those pieces that attach to the sides.
Totally. I do feel like literally, and some of it is tilt controlled as well.
Okay.
So it's not just touch controlled. I think you can tell it you want to do it all tilt or you want to do it touch as well. And I did just do the touch thing because I can't play a game where I'm supposed to be spinning around. I'm just not going to do that.
How often do you run into games either on Apple Arcade or just general that you wish like, hey, this could use some apparatuses?
Unfortunately, not often enough. Usually, if the controllers are so bad, it immediately is a massive turnoff for the game, and I don't care how good the game is. It doesn't. If the controllers are the controls are just bad, they're just bad. But this is one of the few games I think I have played where I've been like, wow, this would be a great game if it's already a pretty good game for what it is. It's just not. It's missing that controller aspect of a racing game, essentially. Because you can race people online. I have not done it because I am so bad at it that I feel like it would be like giving that win to whoever really wanted it.
Does Apple have a first-party controller add-on?
But okay, so with the new OS, whatever it is, 12 or 13, whatever it is now,
13.2.
They do have. You can now use other controllers. So Apple Arcade is designed to be used with controllers as well.
But they don't have an Apple controller.
They do not have an Apple
so.
controller, but you can use like an Xbox controller. You can use a PS4 controller.
Cool.
Yes.
So you can use other parties' controllers. They just don't have one for themselves.
It would be so funny if someone took this game and like did the biggest like driving racer simulator hookup to this, like the driver's chair, the wheel, the pedals, and then just the tiny little iPhone on a table.
I'd play it.
Yeah.
Happily, I'd play that. I'm about that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, that's what
So
it
it's
is.
not
Super
just
Impossible
impossible.
Road.
It's super impossible.
It's really for me. Yes.
Cool. All right, I will go next. The game I played is called Void, and then a fatherless person. You know, what Jon Snow was in most of the series of Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Void that is what this is called. And it's a first-person roguelike. So you are a prisoner on a ship.
How dare you? Are you falsely accused?
No, you're accused.
Are you falsely incarcerated?
No.
But
the thing is,
you did it.
You absolutely did.
Criminal.
So, but what it is so you're a prisoner and you're trying to escape. So
that's another crime.
So you're going onto other ships that are randomly generated.
Okay.
With random enemies on it, with random rooms and everything, and you're trying to collect parts in order to rebuild stuff on your ship in order to escape.
So there's multiple ships.
There is multiple ships, which is where the roguelike comes in.
You're hopping on other ships to bring back parts to your main ship.
Correct.
To escape the ocean and the ship that you're on?
Oh, no. This is in space.
Spaceship.
Yeah, spaceship.
Sorry. I missed that.
No. That's completely... As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, yeah.
Troy thought you were a pirate up until just a minute ago.
I was in the same boat that Troy was in.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, just get like a lifeboat and swim out of here, man. You're fine.
Spaceship.
Okay. So you need something to like clear.
Exactly. And like every
planets.
single little hurdle is just very funny. And also where the roguelike aspect comes in is that you are a prisoner, but you are not... when you die, like say if you die in it, the backpack like flies off of you because it's really the backpack that's controlling the prisoner.
Wait, what?
So it's a backpack, and then if the person dies, the backpack will fly off, go back to your ship,
and get a new person.
Get a new prisoner with brand new traits, brand new everything.
So is the backpack the criminal, or is the backpack?
The backpack is you as the person controlling the game. So
who are you?
You're the backpack. So
why are you killing these prisoners?
You're a very rich person who paid a lot of money to buy a backpack that control human beings.
To try and get one out of hundreds out.
So the eventual actual crux of the game is that you are a backpack, or you're basically the AI of the ship, and you're just trying to get to a specific point, but the ship is kind of busted.
Okay.
So you break out you break out prisoners in quotation marks. Tell them, oh yeah, you got to do this thing for me. You're gonna get there, and then you're really not. Like if you die, whatever, we'll just get another one.
So you're just an AI trying to fix something.
Yeah, you're just trying to get to a point in space. Yeah, you're trying to get home basically, and so it's pretty great. Like all of the prisoners that it brings back have random traits. So like one of them will be able to detect if there's like a power outage on a ship. So before you even go onto the ship, you're like, oh, it has a power outage. I don't want to deal with that. I'll go to another ship. Okay. And so you do that. Like my first person that actually had was colorblind. So everything was in black and white.
Interesting.
Which was pretty cool. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I really wish what this looked like in color first, but this is fine.
To really appreciate this.
Yeah, to really appreciate it. So then that person died.
How much variety are you finding, I guess? Yeah, if that person died.
It was kind of like the traits themselves, there's a pretty good variety. Like the next person I had poor peripheral vision, so everything was like a circle around me. I couldn't see everything. So I was like, well, at least I can see things in color now. That's nice. The next person was super tall, so my reticle was way higher than it was before, and I kind of felt like I had a duck below things, even though I didn't. Like it was really weird.
You have a blind character, you just have to walk around listening to things until he dies. It's just you're like trying to kill him.
Yeah. But the game is like super fun. Variety of the ships though, not too much. The ships themselves, there was only like I think I found like maybe 6 or 7 different layouts of them. But they all had like different rooms. So like one ship might have more junk in it, where I can use to build more things. Another ship will have I can refill my health. And then you're coming back to the ship. You're rebuilding new weapons. You're building new like armor for yourself. So you're doing that. So there's a little loop aspect to that as well. So it's a lot of fun though, and it's very Borderlands. So it's cell shaded.
Okay.
Versus like 3D, like completely realistic graphics. So it's very fun though.
I like stories or roguelikes that justify their roguelikeness.
Yeah.
Like, in clever ways. What was that game for the iPhone? That was like the endless nights swipe in.
Reigns.
Was it Reigns?
If you mean like the cards where you're swiping left and right, or are you talking about when you're like trying to like get a castle or something?
Yeah,
like
you're
that?
trying to get into the castle, and then when you die, the next character comes up as like a great ancestor of the character that just didn't make it.
Yeah.
I have all of them. I just can't think of what they are right now.
It was a really clever idea to just keep it the same, but also very different.
Yeah, it was something Blade or Endless Blade or it was,
Knight's Blade.
Yeah, something like that. I forgot what the hell it was called.
It was good though.
It was great. It was great. There was 3 of them. They were all fantastic. But yeah, that was my game. Void, Jon Snow. Let's go with that. It's pretty cheap too. So that was my game. How about you, Amanda? What did you play?
Like Troy mentioned,
Infinity Blade.
Yeah, there it is.
I remembered it without looking it up. Sorry, Amanda.
Like Troy mentioned, I was on a work trip last week, so I didn't have too much time to play. But I did pull up an Apple Arcade game because I haven't been quite getting my money's worth out of Apple Arcade, which is not them. That's mostly me. But I pulled up Discolored, which is like a Myst-like exploration kind of point and click game. Like you get no explanation. They drop you into a room and then you're just like, okay, what am I doing? You collect a bunch of items. You can use those items to kind of figure out the world, which is the puzzle. Very, very much like Myst.
Okay.
And it was I played a little more than an hour, maybe hour and a half. And parts of it I really enjoyed. The art style is really nice. The movement was pretty smooth. I think if I had a controller, I'd enjoy it more. But that's just because I'm not super accustomed to the on-screen controls. My right thumb always shifts too far left, and I'm like, why can't I look around? I was like, oh, right, because I'm not using the right part of the screen. And that's not them, that's me.
Yeah.
But there were certain parts that I found a little unintuitive. Once I collected items, I could always tell exactly which items I was going to pick up. But once I had them, sometimes I would try to use them on something, but I wouldn't use it quite right. So it wouldn't work. Or I would run around and then like some of the items are super obvious. And then like at one point I was supposed to water a plant to move forward, but I didn't even realize the plant was an object. It just looked like part of the scenery. And like while I enjoyed the puzzle aspect of it, I don't enjoy games where they're just like take this item and then click it on everything in the screen until you figure it out. And it had a little bit of that. So maybe as I move forward, it'll get a little better. But I enjoyed the bit of it that I played. But for the most part, it was just like, it was all right. Yeah. It was very pretty when you start unlocking colors because the whole world is gray. And then as you play, you unlock color by color. So I just unlocked green, and everything looks gorgeous now. So I can see the draw of doing it to have the interactions with the world. But you had a question?
When you're traveling and whatnot, what type of game do you usually like to dig into? A puzzler, or what kind of helps you bide the time best?
I usually pull something up on my Switch. It's usually whatever I've most recently purchased on the Switch. I play a lot of farming simulator games, the Harvest Moons, the Rune Factories, the Stardew Valleys. But it's normally whatever I've bought most recently. Skyrim's a great playing game.
Really?
Because
it is? Wait, no, Skyrim? No.
But because I just got Apple Arcade, I kind of wanted to pull some stuff up. And that game just looked cool, so it was nice to play in the airport. It was very simple. I could put headphones in or I could not put headphones in. There's nothing to read, so it was pretty low key.
Nice.
Sweet.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, yeah, that'll do it for our games this week. And now let's get on to the news.
News. It's like the last firework.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like...
Yeah, exactly. It's not the Big Bang one.
No. Yeah, it's the Sizzler.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with there was a massive Destiny puzzle that they dropped last week, which is like the quarters. You had to go through the sundials, the quarters of time. So you had to. There's a whole bunch of different like runes on different doors.
Okay.
So it was a massive community effort in order to figure out what the giant map was and what runes you had to go through in order to unlock stuff.
Were these runes hidden in a raid?
No, they were in the sundial. So you just had to go through the sundial, and so people were actively mapping out where these runes were, what map was such, what was this.
That's always fun when you have to when the community really has to put it into overdrive.
Yeah, and they did. They put it through, and they put in a whole hell of a lot of work.
Also makes me feel very guilty that I'm not playing Destiny on a regular basis. I just asked too much.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. One day I'll come back.
But they spent all weekend doing it, and Bungie was like, hey, listen, guys, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You know, you guys can take your time. And it's like Destiny
I'm
players.
sure they listened very well.
Absolutely, no. Especially the hardcore players who only have this to do. So they banged through it. And the reward was just another weapon quest that they were expecting on the 28th.
Oh, ouch. Ouch. I felt that. Oh.
Upside, it's an easy quest, but it's still one of those like, why? What?
Like we want to like reveal Destiny 3 or like a new character or like new powers or something.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
Wow.
Yeah, it was one of those like good old Destiny. Like, oh hey, look, here's something really. Oh, it's just for nothing. Okay.
Gosh, it would have been cool if they found like Master Chief's helmet at the end.
Yeah.
It was like, wait, what?
What? But yeah, it was kind of underwhelming. But,
yeah, right.
But actually, the people going through and doing it was very cool. It was very cool seeing all the streamers, and even if you were just playing through it once or twice, you could post what you saw, and they would include it on their map.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, all right. Well, Destiny, you can take this journey and sell it. I don't know.
Yeah,
sure, you
don't
get
stop
some
believing.
microtransact it.
And then Stardew Valley. The little indie farming simulator that could has surpassed 10 million copies sold all throughout every single platform.
Wow, that's a lot of egg sandwiches.
Yeah, that
a
is.
lot of fried eggs.
It's a lot of corn grown.
Yeah.
So good for the dude. I mean, it was one person who made it in his best bedroom, and he's beyond wealthy now. So good for him.
Have we done him as a dragon?
No, he will be eventually.
Okay, all right. I look forward
It's
to.
Chucklefish, right?
Well, no, Chucklefish is the publishing company. It was
Okay.
the guy who did it. I forget what his name is, but he's awesome.
Look forward to a future dragon.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely will
for
be
that. Wait, I got it. Infinity Blade. Oh no, that's not his name.
No,
sorry. I still have it on the brain.
It's Infinity Blade Jr.
That
was his dad.
See.
You know.
Yeah. It's good to be formal.
And then speaking of stuff that has sold a lot of stuff, PS4 is now the fourth highest selling console of all time,
Da-doom.
surpassing the original PlayStation.
That's big.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that PlayStation 4 looked at like its grandpa and was like, "Hey, bud, I'm gonna keep climbing up this hill if that's okay. You stay right here. You rest. You rest. You rest. You did good. I'm gonna keep going."
So as of right now, 3 of the top 4 high-selling consoles are all PlayStations.
Wow.
PlayStation 2 is number one. 3D or just the Nintendo DS, I think, is number 2.
Two of the top 4 are PlayStations.
Okay.
Because the first one is PlayStation 2. The second one, I think, is the Nintendo DS.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, I think,
Oh,
is
sorry.
the...
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
The third one is the Game Boy
That's
Color. And the fourth one is the PS4.
3 of the top 5, I meant to say.
there
Yeah,
you
3 of the top 5.
All right, Sony.
Yeah.
Sony's looking at Nintendo, being like, "Get out of my room.
That's right.
This is my room now."
That's right. Well, I also found it interesting because they had a chart, and the Switch has surpassed Xbox One sales,
Uh-oh.
which is kind of rough. That's a little rough.
It makes sense. A lot of people that we know who play PlayStation 4 also have a Switch, and then people who we know who play Xbox also have a Switch.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah.
It's difficult in this generation because now you can play Xbox games on the PC.
Yeah.
So you don't need to own an
Yeah.
Xbox
I wonder
console
how they're-
anymore. So
Yeah.
everyone who wants to play Sony games has to own a PlayStation. But for an Xbox, you have a choice. So as it moves forward, I think it's going to be harder and harder to compare them.
That's true.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I mean, good for them. Good for PlayStation 4. And then the Overwatch League is moving streaming platforms. It is no longer going to be on Twitch.
Okay.
It is now going to be on YouTube.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah.
It'll be on YouTube along with the Hearthstone League and Call of Duty League.
YouTube is pretty stable.
Yeah, it's. I think YouTube has something like 520 million people who view streaming platform or who view the streaming. But even though it's that big, they still only equate to what Twitch users watch, at least as far as hours watched. So there's a lot more viewers. There's just a lot less time that they spend watching it. Whereas Twitch, it's just like, oh no, we're just going to watch this all day. This is my life.
This is just on.
This is
what
just
happens.
on. This is it.
I read a horrible fun fact.
Ooh.
That on YouTube there are more views for Overwatch porn than there is for anything else Overwatch.
It checks out.
So I feel like they saw a market and were like, "Hey, let's get on that." whatever it takes, get those likes.
My mind just broke even thinking that there was Overwatch porn.
Oh yeah.
What?
It is high quality. If you ever see it, like it is, they put some graphics into that. It's ridiculous.
Brian, do you have something you'd like to tell the room?
Yeah, I've just happened to see it. Literally happened to see it.
Oh no, I'm totally okay with
I
this.
was walking down the street and it just like ran up to me and I was like, "Whoa, hey, hey Tracer."
Was Diva in any of these? Why didn't you tell me?
Every single thing you can possibly imagine has been done.
Okay, this is done. We're not talking about
this.
This
Is just
anymore.
how
I'm
it
done.
is
I'm out.
for
I'm out.
all
For
everything.
Yeah,
is this?
This is that rule 42 or
34.
Rule 34, whatever.
There's going to be a Rule 34 league eventually.
Oh no!
That aside, the developers have tried pretty actively to squash that stuff.
It's just unfortunately they're just squashing them into Rule 34.
Yeah, into more.
Yeah,
but that's great.
Yeah.
I want the Overwatch League to be as big as it possibly can, and going to its third season may be a little bit tough.
Yeah,
but I think this will help boost some viewership.
Definitely, especially because they've lost a lot of their normal people who've been doing the announcing. They've lost a lot of their announcers.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, they lost a bunch of them. So it's
New blood.
So, but yeah, that'll do it for that. Then some Rockstar news, right, Manda?
Yes, this was all of the buzz. I guess the beginning of this week is Rockstar got a $37 million tax relief break from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some criticism about whether they should be allowed to have that much relief. But I guess from Rockstar's point of view, they said that we create so many jobs and we're bringing income into the country that we should definitely be allowed to utilize the systems that are available. But I believe the critics said that they're using a vast majority of the tax relief that's available for the country. So again, I don't have an opinion. I don't have enough information, but they said that might be detrimental to other developers if there wasn't enough relief available to kind of spread out to everyone.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I'll monitor it.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's see here. Ninja Theory, the pretty great development house.
Maker of Senua's Sacrifice? Hellblade?
Yes. Yeah. They have released a trailer for their new game, which is Project Mara. And it's an experimental game that wants to pretty much just scare the hell out of you. It really wants to get into like your individual psyche and try to figure out what scares you and do that. And the trailer looks phenomenal.
Wow.
It looks really good. So yeah, I look forward to not playing that.
They are a very talented team that
Yes.
really messed with your head with Senua's Sacrifice. So
Yeah.
I do not put it past them to make something even more impactful.
Agreed. And speaking of stuff that messes with your head, Dying Light news
yeah.
or not so news.
Dying Light 2 is delayed, quote unquote, indefinitely.
Ooh, definitely.
It doesn't mean that they're not going to release Dying Light 2, but it does mean that they had a release date for this year, and when they delayed it, they did not provide a new release date.
Correct.
They said that it looks like they either had to make a major change to the game, or maybe they wanted it to be more compatible with different platforms.
Okay. I hope it's for
But
good reasons.
They're still making it,
Yeah.
but it is delayed.
Yeah.
Or like Dying Light. Boo.
Oh, it's dead. And then last bit of news for me is the Chinese company Tencent announced that it has plans on acquiring Funcom, which is the company that makes the MMOs like Conan Exiles, The Secret World, a couple other ones. And the crux of this is that Tencent already owns 29% of the company, just like it owns a lot of other companies. It's actually the biggest gaming company in the entire world.
Yep.
And but it wants full ownership of it, so it's willing to pay for it as well. It's going to give the amount that it gave to buy out the rest of them is 30% higher than what it's already currently trading for. Wow. So they believe in it highly enough that it's like, all right, we'll pay for it.
Okay.
So give us that company.
Yeah. All right. Give it away.
Yeah.
Another selfish. No, sorry, that wasn't selfish. That was mean. Wow. I put a little commentary on there. You and your MMO news, 10-cent news. But for Mandy and I, Knights and Bikes, one of our favorite games from last year, I want to ride my bike, will be releasing on the Switch February 6th.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So grab it on the go. Play it on your bike. That's right. I don't care if it's dangerous. Do it.
Do it at night.
That would be totally in spirit with the game.
It would. It would.
Do it at night on your bike.
Yeah.
Play with a friend, but make them run next to your bike while you play.
That's right. They can't ride on it. No, that's illegal.
Get their own bike.
And then, man, you got a couple of random news stuff for us as well.
We do. There are 2 free things that are available right now for our peeps. Is like we're in control of this.
Of course, yeah.
But all of the previous Half-Life games are available for free on Steam right now. So if you want to get ready for the new Half-Life VR game that's coming out, you can catch up on Half-Life for free.
Yep.
And there's a free Ghost of Tsushima theme that's available.
I'm going to get that as soon as I get home.
It's very pretty. That's a gorgeous game.
Yeah.
And then lastly, and this is just a bit of fun, is they are voting for some new Lego playsets that are being developed, and one of the Lego playsets is an Untitled Goose Lego playset. I can't think of anything more fun than playing that game on like a console and then going and sitting down with the Legos and then stealing all of the Lego pieces from the poor farmers. Just, you get a goose, you get a little hut, you get a few of the items from that level, like the flower beds and the hats and stuff. Mm-hmm. But because it's Lego, you could literally start stealing like bricks from the guy's wall or house pieces. Yeah.
The creativity that will come out of that seems like it will be a lot of fun to watch unfold.
Which is great for Lego.
Yeah, and fingers crossed it gets released.
Yeah, and that goose will literally fit into any other set that you have.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Overwatch set, put it right in there. Harry Potter set, done.
I wanted it before, but now it has to happen.
Right?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just stealing lightsabers.
Oh, man, that would be great. No, come back. Oh, no, my legs. They're gone.
Kylo Ren is like, no. I'm going to force stalk you later.
All right, and that'll do it for our news segment.
You know, Brian.
What?
We are having some traveling happening. Mandy just got back off a plane. You two are going to be heading on a plane soon.
That's right.
And I was wondering, what is a good snack or meal to have when you are traveling on a plane? What's good plane food? I need something to tie me over, either to bide the time or just to give myself some more energy.
You can't do peanuts anymore. They don't do peanuts.
They don't?
Yeah, it's true. And they don't got them popping peanuts.
It's cookies or crackers.
It's cookies and crackers. I need something else besides that.
Or if you're on JetBlue, it's the blue chips.
Blue chips or blue chips?
They have those beautiful blue chips.
Hey.
It's good. But you know what? I just don't think that's going to work for me. I'm going to be traveling too this year. I need some suggestions. What would be good to just kind of consume and something that can linger a little bit. Something I can really chew on.
Oh, okay. So not like a bubbly bottle, like that.
No.
Okay.
A bubbly bottle won't do much. Give me the bubbles in my tummy.
Fair enough.
Do you want like half a
bubbles
can
in my
of
belly?
Do you want like half a can of soda, but like it's mostly ice?
So they got you on that.
You see them give you the little cup, and then you see them open the can, pour a quarter of it in, and then put the can back. You're like, come on. Just give me the can, lady or guy.
Especially if your flight's like 6 hours. It's like, I'm going to be here a while. I have enough for a whole soda. If it's like an hour, then I get it. It's like, you're not going to drink this soda, and we're not going to give you a whole can. But...
What do you think this is?
I think this has gone into a commentary.
You know the thing about planes. No, that's not going to work for me. I really need something that's going to stimulate me.
Oh, stimulate you. Joe, you got anything?
I don't know. I just keep thinking of plane things for planes.
This would be on a plane.
Right? Yeah. I feel like you should be looking for something that might be, I don't know, just tastes better. Maybe if it's like tasty.
Yes.
Like a tasty snack.
I would absolutely love something tasty on a plane. No joke. But I don't know what it is, but I would love it.
Would you like some like tasty taters?
Ew, no, gross. Get that out of here.
I'm talking about potato chips.
Oh, I thought you meant like you all from the Tater Talk.
Oh no.
Well, I mean,
I want to listen to you. I don't want to eat you. That just seems mean.
That's understandable.
Tasty parachute.
You know it. At the right time, I would love a tasty parachute. But I'm going to say in this scenario, everything is fine. I don't need a parachute at this moment.
Tasty emergency exit regulations.
Okay, I can't say no to that.
I mean, that's just legroom right there.
Yes, we all need that. We all need that extra legroom. We all need emergency regulations. But I need something that's really going to get me immediately. Not just in the scenarios, but
Like a tasty cockpit?
Why don't we just ask the stewardess for their top pick
That-
of
yeah.
tasty things?
What do you think they would say? You said stewardess.
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant.
I don't know. There'd probably be like a tasty,
I guess, yeah.
like a tasty topic. I like that. That was
Well,
cool.
that was flighty.
That was really took off with that one.
Well,
That bit gets longer and longer and
'cause
longer.
I know. We never know who's going to say it.
We don't.
I just know it's not going to be me. Tasty Topics are a chance to delve a little deeper into a topic that we are interested in.
Yeah,
we're going to get real with it.
Yeah, a little higher with the topic if we need to be.
Let me take you higher.
So this week's tasty topic, Troy, you have it.
I am interested in y'all's gaming console story.
Okay.
And not just story, but stories. You know, I want to know everything about all the video game consoles you've had. But you know what? I don't got that kind of time right now.
We do not.
So instead, I would love to ask you all if you have a first console story, whatever that may be.
Okay.
And to lay it on us here.
All right.
Dip your toes into a little bit of nostalgia and see how it feels. Brian, could I ask you what your console story is?
Sure, absolutely. My first taste of consoles was
That's a different podcast. Get out of here.
was an Atari. I can't remember if it was which Atari version it was of it, but we did have one in the house, and then so I enjoyed playing it. We had the Q*berts, we had the Froggers, we had the Pongs, we had all that. But I remember that this story, or the story I want to tell is, my dad had some friends from work, and one of his friends actually programmed like a baseball game for the Atari. So we popped it in. It was on a 3.5 floppy.
Wait, he programmed it himself?
Yeah, he programmed
it. Oh my goodness. Was your dad's friend?
Yeah, this was my dad's friend.
Was his name Mr. Nintendo?
It might be.
What was that game? My uncle who works for Nintendo or something like that?
Oh, yeah. There was something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot of things in this podcast we're not remembering. AJ, fill in all the blanks that we're missing here. Thanks.
That's right. Yeah, appreciate that. But, so he programmed it, put on the 3.5 floppy, put it in there. And then, so it was a baseball game. And so, like somebody, you're hitting the ball, you're doing all baseball things. And so, but if you hit the ball and it would go to the outfield and your guy missed it, the text on the bottom was an expletive.
Which like actually, or like just the @ symbol?
Oh no, it was the actual.
Points?
Oh no, it was the actual F word. It was at the bottom.
You got dirty word baseball,
and it was hilarious because my dad hates curse words. I'm very young at this point. My dad doesn't know about this because he just.
I cannot picture your dad cursing ever.
He doesn't, and it was just hilarious seeing this and just going, "Well, that was a game."
Man,
it was pretty great.
You know what? What a way to capture a very unique part of actual baseball.
Yeah,
they don't do that these days either.
They don't.
There's no baseball game out there delivering that experience.
There isn't.
He was onto something.
He was. So yeah, that was my first console experience that I will never forget.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So how about you, Troy?
I would say it's definitely the first console that was given to us as kids. Christmas, very classic. I remember walking in a store and seeing the Super Nintendo displayed and being like, what is that? Wanted a Nintendo because I played one at my cousin's, an original Nintendo. But it just so happened that the summer after we saw my cousins with the original Nintendo, the Super Nintendo came out that year. And so my parents did the thing and dropped a Super Nintendo on us one year. And what was even greater about that is they got us games to go with it.
That's the best.
And not just anything. They had one game specifically for me and for my two sisters, like one for each. And they really kind of nailed it.
Oh, yeah?
For my oldest sister, they got The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Nice.
Which is like the perfect older sibling game. And I only got to play it if she was playing it, which was fine.
Yeah.
And by playing it, it's just watching her play it. Madden NFL for my other sister, 92.
Nice.
Gosh, that hurt. Which was great because my sister was definitely more of an outdoors type, and we would play a lot of sports and games together. And so me and her would play together all the time, and we were competitive with each other. And then for me, I got the pack-in game, Super Mario World.
Nice.
Nintendo World. That's being built in Orlando soon.
It is, yeah.
Super Mario World, which is just like, what do you do when you're 7 and you get Super Mario World? It becomes your world.
Oh, yeah. And that's probably one of the best Mario games.
Or one of the best games ever. So literally, at 7 years old, I had A Link to the Past, one of the best games.
Yeah.
And Super Mario World, one of the best games. And Madden, which is, a thing still.
It was a thing.
I kind of got my entire base for gaming just from that Christmas.
Nice.
So definitely very influential in my games going forward.
Yeah, definitely with all the sports games you play.
I like the concept of sports. Thank you very much.
Awesome. What about you, Amanda?
So I don't really remember not having a console. So I don't remember like the purchase of the console or receiving the console.
Yeah.
Because my mom bought the console for her, and it was just always in the house from as long back as I can remember. But we had an NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the classic.
The NES.
What I do remember is that my brothers and I were not very good at sharing, and Mom also didn't like us to watch TV. So we had the Nintendo was in her room, and we had an egg timer. So you would go in there, and then you get 60 minutes on the egg timer. When the egg timer went off, you'd have to give it to someone else. And when we all ran out of minutes, we had to go outside.
Was it like a run outside or a very begrudging, like zombie slow walk down the stairs?
No, well, the egg
once the timer went off.
Then you would play 2 games because one game was the game on the screen, and the other game was cheating the egg timer. Of like, I only have 3 minutes left, so I'll like crank it. But then, like, obviously my brothers wanted to play, and even if they had already played, they didn't want you to have more time. So despite the fact that they weren't going to play again, it was like, but you can't have more time than I did. So you would have to cheat the egg timer in a way that no one else noticed, which is hard.
Do you remember any ways you did that, or just while no one was looking?
I was probably like 5. So I don't think I had like a scheme for cheating the system. But the 2 games I remember playing the most were, we had a Sesame Street game, which was great for us kids, and they had numbers and counting in Windows. I vaguely remember Windows. And then we had the Star Wars game, which we were clearly very bad at, but we really liked Star Wars, so we would just run around and die continuously. And if you think about it, we played that Star Wars game for the full 60 minutes. So for 60 minutes, we played like level 1 over and over and over and over again.
That's just childhood.
Yeah.
Especially when you're 5.
Yeah.
And later that was called Dark Souls.
They turned that into a game.
One of us would get to level 2 and it would be like, oh.
And then you couldn't save sometimes in those games, so you would just shut it off, and that was it.
Oh, it was definitely the experience of like, I think the system was on the floor. So we were very young, so there was a lot of like not sharing happening. So you pull it and then it would turn off.
Oh, no. It's the worst.
Rough. And how about you, Joe?
I'm much like Amanda. We kind of always had a console, like one way or another. Somebody, either one of my uncles owned it or my parents had one of their own. I think for me, the first console we ever got, like my sister and I got as like we had to share it, was the Sega Genesis. And we played so many games together in that. I don't even know how we played them together because we also were not really great at sharing. But we played that Sonic game probably forever. And as soon as we learned the code for the golden Sonic, like that was like everything. Supersonic. It was the best. But actually, the story I will tell you is not one of ours, not one where it was in our house. My uncle, he owned a NES, and he owned a regular NES. And he was playing, I believe it was Link to the Past, and we were watching him play, and it was the most awesome thing ever. We were all like we were just enamored with the screen and all the pixel glory that was happening. And when he handed us the controller, we found a way to erase his save file.
Oh no!
No.
I don't know how we did it, but we did.
That's no glory.
No
glory for
he
you.
looked so unhappy.
Which uncle was this?
My Uncle Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I felt so bad for him. Knowing now how I know how the game did not save, how like there was just so much you had to do to get to certain. I don't know how we did it, but we did. I really.
It was its own game.
We had destroyed where he was. We had destroyed what he had worked on for like hours. Him and like all of my uncles, they were all having a great time. We're just like, I think I was like probably like 8 or 9 years old playing a really old system, but it was glorious when we were playing it, and then it was gone.
It went down in a blaze of pixel glory.
He was not happy. Like there were so many expletives. We didn't need a 3.5 floppy to say them for us.
Yeah. It was like playing baseball.
Yeah.
He was pissed. But the game's really still amazing.
That's pretty great.
That's probably one of the ones that stands out the earliest of all the console stories I could have. That one's there.
Nice.
Woof.
This is a good topic, Troy.
Yeah. Maybe we'll revisit another time in our console lives we can talk about.
Maybe.
Down the road.
Maybe next time it'll be like your fifth one.
Curveball.
Good luck remembering.
First handheld.
Yeah,
there you go.
I like it.
Oh my God,
Getting
that
ahead
story.
of ourselves. Oh no. All right. Well, that'll do it for our tasty topic. Now I'll bring us to our Dragon of the Week.
It's the dragon of the week. It's what you seek. It's the dragon of the week. Oh, it's so chic. The dragon of the week. The dragon of the week is our chance to highlight an industry professional or developer or company or place or concept.
Yeah, it's our segment. We can make the rules.
Yeah, that's right. Anything in the industry that we just want to give a little love to.
Of course.
In this industry that has given so much to us.
That's right. And this week you have it, right, Troy?
I sure do, my friend.
All right.
So my dragon of the week is the lead writer for a 2015 game named Never Alone, Kasima Engachuna, developed by Eline Media. This is a game that takes a tale from the Inupiaq, an indigenous Alaskan tribe, and tells it in like literally the most enriching way possible. Your soul just feels better.
Ooh.
It's a tiny snow fox, and you can play as the snow fox.
Oh.
And then if you play 2-player, one of you gets to be the little guy, and the other one gets to be the snow fox. And guess which one of us got to be the snow fox?
Troy.
No.
Mandy is the fox.
Snow fox all times. So cute.
So I wanted to talk about the storyteller behind that game. His name is Ishmael Hope. Born in Alaska, Ishmael grew up in Sitka and Juneau, Alaska, which is like the southernmost part of Alaska. Like I looked at Alaska at the landmass, and I didn't know there's like a little tiny sliver on the side of Canada.
Yep.
Right near like Washington. I'm like, that's where he's from and grew up. I thought that was pretty cool. He grew up surrounded by culture.
Okay.
His mother would regale him with stories of the Inupiaq people, which is part of his ancestry. The elders around him would do the same. So he was just inundated with tales of adventure and wisdom, of growth and community. And as he grew up, he slowly realized that these weren't just like, fun stories or just, grandpa being grandpa or anything like that. He realized they were actually like a deep and storied tradition, stories that have been orated for generations and passed down. Of those stories, he was quoted by saying that, these stories, it's the young are told from an early age, like even in the womb, about what their parents aspire for them to become. And it definitely worked for him because all of those stories ultimately would lay the groundwork of what his career would become. Because he grew up to become a poet.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, a poet and an author, with his work focusing on indigenous life and culture. And he also went on to become a scholar, giving lectures on the preservation of tribal languages and just all of that goodness. In 2012, Eline Media was wanting to make a game that could make a cultural impact. And one of the main leaders of that crew had previously worked on Lara Croft games. And he'd made his AAA games and was like, hey, he'll be a dragon another time. Yeah. He was like, hey, I want to start a new studio that can just do something that's going to be more cultural and whatnot. So his company, Eline Media, did a lot of studying and came across the Inupiaq people and loved everything about them. Now, what they didn't know was that the Cook Inlet Tribe Council, the Inupiaq people, which is a nonprofit organization in Anchorage that provides educational and social services to Native Alaskan people, they were literally having meetings on how to spark education among their young folk, because they were noticing some of them don't know the language anymore. Some of them haven't eaten like traditional foods, things like that. They wanted to find a way to engage their kids and their youth. And by doing so, it would also help secure more funding for their people. And one of their leaders had actually, in one of their meetings, suggested like looking at the video game industry as a possible way to do it. And so it was easy. The studio and the tribal counselor got together and they were like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
And what was really cool is the tribal council really advocated, because I mean, you're bringing video games into a community that didn't necessarily totally get it, some of the elders and whatnot. And you told them it's storytelling, and they were like, we get it. They embraced it very lovingly, and it was beautiful to see that happen. So that's where Ishmael Pope was brought on as lead writer. And what is like so cool, I think, about this guy is I watched like hours of interviews and lectures of him. He never introduces himself as the lead writer. Yet the way that he weaves his story is masterful, and it's the reason why he doesn't introduce himself as the lead writer. Basically, they came to him wanting to tell the tale of the Inupiaq people, and after doing some more research, Ishmael had a friend get him a copy of this book called Stories of the Black River People by Robert Cleveland, which he regards as some of the best stuff. He's like Shakespeare and this. And in that book was the story of Kainuksayuka, which is the inspiration for Never Alone. And he took that story, the tale of a young boy pretty much facing the personification of the blizzard to take it down.
And a snow fox.
Well, there was no fox in the original story.
And a snow
This
fox.
is where Ishmael came in, right?
So you're saying there was snow fox.
There was snow fox at that
There's
time.
snow fox.
Yeah, they changed the gender of the main character and added a fox to tell their own spin on this very story tale. And one of his main things that he advocated was the importance of leaning on their elders to be the framework of this game, and the way that he went about implementing that was magical, and that's really the main draw. What stood out about this game and what he did with the writing is that he had this story tale to tell, and instead of just writing his own version, he got people from the tribe to talk about it, and not just about the tale, but also their lives. And pretty much they made a documentary on the side about these people. And then when you actually play the game, after you get through certain obstacles and unlock certain things, it'll actually take you to a segment of the documentary, like a 2 or 3 minute video that has to do with what you just overcame. And you actually learn about this culture while playing this folktale. And what happens over time is by the end of the game, and you not only have experienced a very beautiful story, but it means more to you now because you've actually learned about the people, spoken from them themselves. No one's done that before. Melded a documentary and a video game in one. And it worked, and it wasn't boring. It was super fascinating and cool.
I think most educational games, it's really jarring because it's very unorganic. It's just you're just running from one fact to another fact, but the way that they wove it into the end of certain segments made it when the videos popped up, you were like, ugh, education video, or oh, let me just click past this. I want to get back to the story. They were really
poignant.
Yeah, they weren't just poignant, but they were woven in well with the story where you didn't feel like it was unorganic.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is adding more to what I just experienced.
Yes.
And being able to hear the people and their language just added to that enriching aspect of this entire game.
Nice.
So when he approached this idea of using the people of the Inupiaq to craft the game, Eline Media were like, yeah, totally, we're on board. And I grabbed a quote by one of the developers, which was beautiful. He said, we like the notion of not making a game about a community, but making a game with a community.
Nice.
And that's very much what that game is. It is them. It is a story from that community, which is beautiful. For his work, for Ishmael's work, he won a BAFTA award for the best debut game, and actually accepted it with Eline Media. And just to let you know, that year in gaming, was it 2015, had the Banner Saga in it and Shovel Knight. Like that's how amazing like this experience was. Like, that's even awesome. Shovel Knight was like, here, take my shovel. you all earned this. What's really interesting is that he's only worked on this game.
Wow.
Like, this is it. But you know, I feel like it was such a culturally impactful game. It shed a light on other games like this and kind of opened up a few doors for games like this to be recognized a little more. And I mean, I still am loving the idea of mixing gaming and documentary filmmaking, and I would love for it to be done across the board. Like, even it kind of harkens back even to like old DVDs with commentary, where it's you kind of get to watch or watch a movie and then learn more about it while watching it sometimes with certain commentaries. I would even like more of that sometimes. I know Tim Schafer does that with remakes of his old games. So you get to play the game and then hear the backstory of them making it. And it's fascinating and lovely, and it has a documentary feel where I'm learning and playing at the same time. So I do hope that continues to become a thing. Nowadays, you can find him giving lectures. There's a great lecture online he gives at the Indigenous Language Institute Symposium, where he looks at how technology can impact language and learning as he becomes an advocate for preserving languages. You know, as they get older and English becomes a more dominant language, the original languages tend to kind of become diluted or less, you know, so he's trying to find ways to encourage people to keep the languages alive, which is just beautiful. He continues to write books and poetry. And I have one excerpt of one of his feelings on poetry to read for you all. That's cool.
Yeah.
He says, poetry in the broadest sense possible, which to me is something like a deep and intense thought, and thought which extends beyond the human world, can remind us of the invisible yet tangible tapestry that connects us. And Never Alone, Kasima Angachuna, is poetry in motion, in my opinion. And I think he brought all of that into this game, and then him with the rest of the developers really made something special, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And what was his name again?
Ishmael Hope. Bringing hope.
Nice.
That's a great name.
Absolutely. Well done. That's interesting. So, yeah, that they actually brought on an Inuit and did all that. That's awesome.
It's very cool.
Very cool. All right. Well, that'll bring us to the end of the episode.
Ba-boom, ba-boom.
Wow. As always, we record live upstairs inside of Tate's Comics, powered by our friends with 2000 Brigade.
Oh, that's where we are.
That is.
Wow, I was wondering.
You can find us online.
Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Taste of Dragons, where we keep the conversation rolling all week long.
That's right.
Also, check us out on YouTube. We have a little segment going on, Midnight in Salem, our Nancy Drew games. It's interesting. News. Wow, it sounds really scary, slow.
Way more scary than that game.
That's how they say it in the game.
Oh, is it?
You can also find our sister podcast, The Crispy Business.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Sizzle, sizzle. Pop, poppin'. They're also on the iTunes and all the other places you can find them their podcasts.
Their places.
Their places.
That stuff. All the good stuffs.
With the target bits into the microphones and such.
That's right. They do the pop culture-ish stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, that'll do it for us. As always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
Have a great week, everyone.
And we are...
The Taste of Dragons.
I remembered it after I said it. It's fine. It works.
It works.
Have a great week,
we'll
everyone. Goodbye.